Not every match is beautiful. Sharks vs Cardiff is a story of mistakes, resilience, and the value of fundamentals. If you enjoy deep, realistic perspectives, subscribe to Scrum Masters Elite _UK now.
The full course of the match between Sharks and Cardiff left me with something far from a vivid picture of technique or a flawless performance. Instead, it felt like a very real sports story, where victory isn't always pretty, where mistakes are everywhere, and where resilience is defined by how people overcome their own shortcomings. I approached this match from a very personal perspective. I wasn't looking for highlight moments to admire. Instead, I tried to slow down and understand what truly made the difference. And the first thing I realized was this: neither team was at their best. Misplaced passes, rushed decisions, and imprecise execution made the game feel disjointed. Yet within that disjointedness, the true nature of both teams became clearer than ever. With Sharks, I sensed a kind of raw but genuine drive. They weren't trying to be perfect. They didn't hide their mistakes. They accepted that they weren't playing well, but they still found a way to win. That made me reflect deeply. In life, I often delay taking action because I don't feel ready or good enough. But this match felt like a reminder. You don't need to be perfect to move forward. You just need enough determination not to stop.
Sharks' 21-15 victory didn't come from flashy plays, but from dominance in the fundamentals, especially set pieces. Lineouts, mauls, and seemingly simple phases became decisive weapons. It made me realize something important. The basics are often overlooked, yet they are what keep any system from collapsing. When Phepsi Buthelezi scored 2 tries, I didn't just see an individual shining. I saw the system behind him: precise lineouts, coordinated movement, and small details like a teammate pausing at the right moment to create space. These details are easy to miss if you only look at the final score. But if you ignore them, you'll never understand why a team wins. This made me ask myself, in my own work and life, how many small details have I lacked the patience to refine? How many times have I wanted big results while neglecting the fundamentals? In its quiet way, this match forced me to confront those questions. On the other side, Cardiff gave me a different feeling, a mix of regret and respect. They weren't completely outplayed. In fact, at times they showed impressive creativity and skill. Mason Grady's 2 tries were no coincidence. They came from precise coordination, good game awareness, and the ability to seize opportunities, but what stood out more was their inconsistency in set pieces. When a team repeatedly loses advantage in lineouts or scrums, they almost give up control of the game. And the lesson here is clear: in any field, if you can't control your key anchors, you'll always be pulled along by your opponent.
Cardiff fought until the final whistle, that cannot be denied. But effort alone isn't enough. It sounds harsh, but it's true. In life, I've also believed that trying hard would be sufficient. Reality is more complex. Effort must come with the right approach and solid fundamentals. Another point that impressed me was how Sharks used experienced players off the bench. When Oxenchi and Vincent Koch came on, they didn't produce flashy moments, but they shifted the game through strength and stability. It made me think about the role of experience in any field. Sometimes, the difference isn't doing something new, it's doing familiar things better and more reliably. I was also particularly drawn to Andre Esterhuizen's role. He wasn't just a player, he set the standard for the team. The way he played, applied pressure, and demanded precision from teammates created a benchmark. It made me wonder, in my own environment, am I setting standards, or am I just trying to keep up with others? With James Botham on Cardiff's side, I saw a different image, someone persistently striving to prove himself. He wasn't the match winner, but he constantly made life difficult for the opposition. It reminded me that a person's value isn't always in standout moments, but also in consistency and sustained impact. Looking at the bigger picture, this wasn't just a match, it was a lesson in competition. The race for the top 8 doesn't allow prolonged mistakes. Every point, every missed opportunity can become the difference between success and failure. Sharks understood this and fought for every small advantage. Cardiff understood it too, but lacked the sharpness to turn it into results.
From this, I draw a very personal conclusion: in real competition, there's no room for ambiguity. You either do the necessary things well, or you pay for your shortcomings. There is no grey area. For fans, this match may not have delivered explosive excitement. But if you look deeper, it's incredibly meaningful. It shows that rugby, and sports in general, isn't just about beautiful moments, but also about quiet battles in the smallest details. And those details are what ultimately decide outcomes. For people in general, I think the biggest lesson is honesty. Honesty about your abilities, your weaknesses, and the reality that things won't always go your way. Sharks were honest with themselves. They knew they weren't playing well, but didn't let that stop them from winning. Cardiff were also honest. They fought until the end, but had to accept their limitations. After reflecting on this match, I don't feel excitement in the usual sense. Instead, I feel more clear-headed. I understand better the value of fundamentals, the importance of consistency, and the acceptance that progress doesn't always come with perfection. If I had to put it simply, this is what I take away: do the small things well, stay steady even when things aren't pretty, and remember that victory sometimes comes not from being better, but from making fewer mistakes. And perhaps that is exactly what makes this match, imperfect as it was, memorable in its own unique way.
Thank you for following Scrum Masters Elite_UK. The Sharks vs Cardiff match has ended, but what remains is a lesson. Victory doesn't require perfection. It only requires fewer mistakes and enough resilience to keep going.